Today in that city, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is expected to introduce a bill that would ban abortions across the country after the first months of pregnancy. Senator Graham previously had introduced similar version. Likely will call for a ban on abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy, as opposed to the 20-week threshold in previous versions. Meanwhile, voters in several states will have a say this November on whether abortion rights should be protected by state constitutions. NBC News Washington correspondent Yamiche Alcindor joins us now with a look at how this is playing out in Michigan. Yamiche, good morning. What did you find in Michigan?
Well, Willie, the national debate over abortion is at the heart of the midterms in Michigan. There's a ballot referendum and a tense governor's race. I went to the state and caught up with candidates and activists. I also met a voter with a striking personal story that gets at the humanity of this issue. Take a look. Lifelong Republican Jessica Leach was devastated when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
I cried for weeks. I cried for my daughter. I always considered myself pro-life.
Now she changed her mind and her party. Jessica got pregnant at 19 and visited an abortion clinic to weigh her options. She decided to have her son, who's now 17, and says being able to make that choice is something every woman deserves. What do you say to people who think your story is an example of why abortion shouldn't be an option?
I would tell those people that until recently, it was always a hypothetical. I would beg them to understand that having these options paved the way for me to be a good mother.
In Michigan, residents will vote on a ballot referendum in November that would enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution.
You're a doctor.
Incumbent Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer is also up for re-election. What is at stake in this election and in the ballot referendum?
Well, abortion and the right to be a full American citizen with agency over your body is on this ballot.
Her views are also shaped by her experiences.
In college, in the days after I was raped, it dawned on me, oh my God, I might be pregnant. And the only thing that gave me a little bit of relief is knowing that I could make a decision that was right for me if that happened.
Her opponent, Republican Tudor Dixon, supports banning abortion with no exception for rape or incest. I wonder if you could just talk a bit more about your own views and talk to people who are worried about your views being too extreme.
I have shared my own pro-life story. I lost a baby at 18 weeks. When I lost the baby, the doctor said this baby probably died in the womb at 16 weeks. I held a beautiful baby girl.
Dixon also does not believe abortion is a top issue for voters.
They're concerned with how to get their kids back on track after they were kept out of school. And if you look at our crime rates in the past couple of years, it's just continued to rise, and why our businesses are being crushed by big government.
Both supporters and opponents of the referendum are mobilizing, like anti-abortion rights activist Kristen Polo, now working overtime after voters in Kansas recently voted to keep abortion protections in its state constitution.
I'm very concerned. Frankly, the policies that are being put forth in this abortion amendment here in Michigan are some of the most extremist policies we've seen in the entire country.
Meantime, Jessica hopes sharing her story helps keep abortion legal in Michigan. Her son Cameron sent her a text on the day of our interview.
Your life experiences, our relationship after you decided to keep me and change your life around me, and now your perspective of life is what the world needs most.
There you have it, both sides making passionate cases. And then there's Jessica, who told me she kept her son because she had family support, but she also said she knows so many other people across this country that they don't have that same support in our situation and are in situations that none of us can imagine. She also says she feels betrayed by the Republican Party, a party that she's been a part of her whole life. She's now voting Democrat, as I said, for the first time. So Democrats in Michigan and frankly across the country are hoping there are many more women like Jessica who turn out in big numbers in November, Caddy.
Yeah, Yamiche, I was going to point that out. This is obviously Jessica is the poster child for what Democrats hope will happen in the midterm elections. What kind of polling is there in Michigan? We know that before the Ohio referendum, actually the polls put it much closer than it ended up being. Do we have any sense of the numbers of how many people there are, like Jessica, who might be voting Democrat because of this issue?
Well, it's a great question. We know that the numbers are that there's a hotly contested and very tight governor's race. And at the heart of that governor's race is the issue of abortion, because you have Tudor Dixon, who is saying that she thinks that abortion should be banned in any case, no matter rape or incest. And then you have Governor Whitmer, who's been traveling around the state. We had images of her holding a round table where she's been telling women this is a human right, abortion rights, and that she sees this as a civil right that she's going to fight. She's also had a lawsuit that's trying to stop any sort of restrictions for abortion to go into effect in that state. So you really have a tight issue here. But the feeling is, of course, that Kansas, which is a very, very red state, that if they could vote to keep abortion rights in their constitution, a battleground state like Michigan, the people who are, of course, supporters of abortion rights, they say that they feel like this issue is going to be one that's going to get a big turnout, and that Michiganders, as they call them, that they're going to vote to enshrine abortion rights into their constitution.
All right, NBC's Yamiche Alcindor, thank you so much for your reporting. Greatly appreciated. And what a fascinating, really, it is just so fascinating to see how this issue is going to shape the 2022 election. We really don't know how it's going to end up moving voters, how much it's going to end up moving voters. But you look at that Kansas race where the pro-life forces were +2 before Election Day. In fact, all the polls beforehand showed it too close to call, but a lot of them had pro-life forces up 1 or 2 points. Pro-life forces ended up being beaten by the pro-choice forces by 19%. Again, in the state of Kansas, a state much more conservative than Michigan. And then you look at what's happening with Tudor Dixon. When you hear her talk there, she sounds like a Main Street Republican. She's talking about regulations, talking about getting the kids back in school, how they were impacted by being out too long on COVID. Those are issues that actually helped Republicans win the governorship in the state of Virginia. Her problem, and the problem for so many Republican candidates, same with Blake Master in Arizona, is they got so far out and so extreme in the primaries. It's going to be really hard for them to come back. You've got Blake Masters and other Republicans scrubbing their websites of some of the more extreme abortion language. Tudor Dixon, she's going to have a real hard time getting away from what she said about a 14-year-old girl getting raped by her uncle, being a perfect example of why the state has to have forced births of rapists' babies. It's kind of hard to start talking about regulations and talking about other issues that would help Republicans win easily this year when you put yourself so far out there on this issue in the primary race.
Yeah, in the primary, if you've made central to your case that you want no exceptions for rape or incest, how do you walk that back in a general? No scrubbing of the website is going to help change that position. And there's a reason, Joe, in the state of Michigan, people like Gretchen Whitmer, Congresswoman Slotkin, are happy now that this initiative is on the ballot to bring out some voters they believe that may side with them in close races. So we will see. That's one of 6 states, Michigan, where abortion will be on the ballot in a couple of months here.